Okay, by way of introduction, while they're pulling the slides up, which is also relevant for today, I wanted to tell a story. So back about 20 years ago, I was with a startup that had great technology. We had over 125 patents in our portfolio. We had incredible opportunity, and it was very difficult to get adoption, extremely difficult. So this startup that could have launched products and utilized their technology in just a few short years ended up taking about 8 years before we had an M&A, before we were purchased. And I was out with the customers a lot. And one thing that I learned in that process was that although we had great technology, it was not user-friendly. And so we had to make drastic changes to what we were doing in order to enable user adoption. So coincidentally, after that exit with that company, I went to work with a large multinational and was an executive with them. We had clients and facilities on 6 continents. And the focus of that business, coincidentally, was user interfaces, both on the software as well as on the hardware side. Now, what was fascinating, again, as I traveled all over the world, working with people that were using products, was that the brand loyalty was highest when the user experience was the best. The adoption of new technologies depended on the user experience. And so that leads me to today. We have wonderful technology. You can attend conferences like this and many others where we talk about infrastructure. We talk about the dApps. But one of the challenges that we have is adoption. And let me just quantify some of that for you. We've heard many times the comparison between the internet and blockchain. And if you look at it in terms of scale, the revenues, and I looked up the market cap for all cryptocurrencies, or at least the top 100 cryptocurrencies, they're about 342 billion this morning, or as of yesterday. So, 342 billion. When the internet had 342 billion for a market cap, they had 150 million users. How many actual owners of cryptocurrency are there on the planet today? Estimates vary between 2.5 to 5 million. That is 3% of the adoption rate of the internet with the same market cap. So the question is, why? Why do we not have the same kind of market adoption as we did with the internet? Now, I think some of my experience in developing products globally for the last 20 years, I think some of that matters. And it doesn't explain everything, but I think it is relevant. Okay. So, one of the things that we'd like to talk about today is we'd like to talk about a method that we can enable more adoption. Today, we have early adopters. We have people that are technical in nature, they love this stuff, and in some cases, the harder it is to use, it's almost more appealing. But for most of the mass market that we are looking for, the 100 million people that Alex just talked about, that is not the case. All right? So ITBiometrics is trying to address a problem that we see in this market space. Now, by way of simple, I'm going to use this slide deck to emphasize how simple it can be. For example, if it took me 15 minutes to describe our product, do you think our product is actually simple? No. So I have a very short slide deck, short messaging, and consider, for those of you that have hardware wallets out there, consider the setup of a hardware wallet that only takes as long as this slide deck. Huge problem, cryptocurrencies and wallets. There are many products on the market today that are great. They are secure, they're robust, and people love them. There's actually a great following with these brands. With cloud and hot wallets, they can be hacked. Hardware wallets are complex. The passwords are very difficult to manage. 15 billion in Bitcoin currencies have been stolen from both hot wallets as well as exchanges. ITBiometrics has a patent pending solution to address this problem. The key to the digital transaction is actually going to be you. It's a personal biometric fingerprint wallet. We also have an enterprise biometric wallet, and I'll explain the difference between the two. So your finger becomes the password, the PIN, the passphrase. Your fingerprint is your access to private key and crypto transactions. Now, what's really important about this is that this fingerprint reader is not a normal reader. It detects whether you are a living person or not. There are multiple sensors involved in this. It is not a simple reader. Now, why is that important? Fingerprint readers can be fooled. In fact, there's an international competition every time a Samsung or iPhone launches a new device to see who can crack it fastest. There's a $100,000 prize out there that was awarded to a German team who actually spent 13 hours. The first 13 hours that the iPhone was released, they hacked it. The ITBiometrics, an image or a copy or any other rendering of that fingerprint will not work. Multi-factor authentication, you can use multiple fingers, you can use a sequence of fingers. Multi-signature, now that gets into the enterprise solution that we're talking about. If you have distributed teams and all of your PINs and passphrases are locked in the bank vault back at your corporate office, but you're not there, you're in Switzerland or someplace, how do you have multi-sig? Our product enables that. It's the most secure without the user hassle and frustration. How many of you here have set up the Nano S ledger, Tracer? Could you do that in 2 minutes? Right. Do you think that's going to have mass adoption? That we're going to have 100 million people jump on that and take the hour that it takes to set that up? And if you mess up one of the passphrases, start over? The restoration method is actually, the seed is again your fingerprint. So it's a simple file that matches your private key to your fingerprint that is stored in an encrypted file that you can store offline anywhere. If you lose the device or it gets broken or stolen, you just replace that encrypted file on the new device, apply your fingerprint, and off you go. Very simple. There are multiple uses beyond cryptocurrency. Certainly blockchain requires authentication, but we are focused on cryptocurrency. That's what we need to enable. Howard is our CEO, I'm the COO. We are in the process of developing a team. We have the hardware functional. We need software connectivity, so we're early stage. We've got legal and our Chief Marketing Officer, Gene Massey. He's actually here doing the recording. This is how you can get a hold of us. If you have interest in the product, if you'd like to be a part of the team, if you want to be a part of the advisory, we'd welcome any input that you have. I'll take questions with just one more statement. The statement is, if we really want to be peer-to-peer, person-to-person, it requires mass adoption. That is the vision that we all have with cryptocurrencies. The user experience must be friendly. Today it's not. Yes, questions?
Did you have two people that you, like, what happens when I die and I need to pass my crypto to my wife.
Yes, so the question is, what happens if I die and I need to pass the crypto on to a living person? You can apply multiple fingerprints that can be and or, they can be and, or they can be or, right? So you can apply that so that if you have a trustee, then you can pass that on. Yes, yes, sir.
What do you project as the unit price of this?
So the unit pricing is a little bit to be determined. Our hardware exists. I think we're going to have different pricing for the enterprise system as well as for the personal system. So we're trying to figure that out. But I would say that it's going to be close to the Tracer and Ledger on the consumer product. On the enterprise product, we are not sure yet. Well, Ledger is $100. Yes, sir.
So quick observation. I think you would struggle with, in my humble opinion, with the mass adoption.
Okay.
That is the key to your whole solution here. Perhaps you should reconsider how you can make this whole thing available on this piece of device. Reason being, this already has mass adoption, mass penetration. All you need is leverage this rather than training you to go use another piece of hardware. And that's it.
Okay, so the comment was the feedback. Thank you for the feedback. The feedback was that we need to enable the smartphone to do what it is that we're saying. So because the smartphone has mass adoption. And that certainly could be the case in the future. However, today, the smartphone is not an ideal device to be highly secure. Now, there are people working on making it more secure, but the fact is today a smartphone is focused on user experience, not on security.
But sir, you're not understanding. You use this just, I apologize for that, but you use this just as a premium. Underneath the application that
Right.
you have, all the flexibility that you care about. This could be secure, I agree, but inside of it sits your
Right.
own app,
Yep.
which could be as secure as you want to this hardware device. Just progress this, just translate this hardware into a software
Yep.
which lies on this platform.
No, yep, excellent. We appreciate the feedback. Next question.
So this is not two-factor authentication, your keys are actually held in this thing, is that correct?
Your private keys are stored, yes. Yep. Other questions?
All right. Well,
Excellent. Thank you.
thank you. So let me ask you a question
yes.
over here. So is this things you're going to see it in a retail store, let's say 5 years from now, we got to go to the Best Buy, find something like that?
It could be in a retail store. Certainly, the cryptocurrency market is a global market. And so it's not just going to be a retail store in the United States that's going to help us in distribution. Definitely it's going to be offered online initially, right? What's that?
You can answer those questions in the
So the question
back.
was how much money do we need, and we can certainly have discussions with
discussion,
that.
yeah,
Thank
we're
you very
not
much.
on that. Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Good luck. If anybody want to get in touch with you,
Yep.
it's an email is hpager@bit.com.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see. Thank you.